After 42 years working as an emergency surgeon, something unexpected happened, something I never imagined I would experience firsthand. I began to notice in myself the same signs I saw every day in older patients arriving at my clinic: heavy legs, slower circulation, that strange feeling that my body no longer responds the same way. And that's when everything changed. Because for the first time, I wasn't just treating it, I was living it. Now think about it for a second. How many times have you felt this? That heaviness in your legs at the end of the day, that slowness when moving, that discomfort that appears without a clear reason. Most people ignore these signs. They believe it's normal, part of aging, that there's not much they can do. But that's exactly when I decided to do something different. Instead of accepting it, I started testing. Not in theory, not just based on studies, but in practice on my own body. And I chose to start with the simplest habit of all, something everyone does every day: drinking water. But not in the usual way. I began experimenting. I tested more than 60 different combinations, mixtures, compounds, substances, everything you can imagine. Some did absolutely nothing. Others made things worse. And most simply didn't bring any meaningful results. But a few, just a few, did something different. And that's when the discovery came that changed everything. The problem was never just drinking more water. The problem is how your body responds to it. And after the age of 60, that response changes, it weakens. Water enters the body, but it doesn't produce the same effect as before. Circulation doesn't respond the same way, and the body doesn't activate the same mechanisms. And that explains why so many people do what seems right and still feel stiff, heavy, and low on energy. Now think honestly, have you ever felt like you're doing everything right but still not seeing results? That's the point. It's not a lack of effort, it's a lack of adjustment. And that adjustment is small, but extremely powerful. Because when you activate the right response in your body, everything changes. And that's exactly what I discovered after all those tests. In the end, it wasn't dozens of options, it was just 5 that truly made a difference. 5 small additions that, when added to water, completely changed how the body reacted. And it wasn't something that took months, you could feel it: better circulation, lighter legs, more responsiveness in the body. And that was the most surprising part. It showed that the body still has the ability to improve, even after years, it just needs the right stimulus. Now there's something very important you need to understand. Most people stay stuck because they are doing almost everything right, but they're missing that small detail that changes the result. And that's exactly what you're about to discover. Now let's begin with the first strategy, because even though it's the least powerful on the list, it already starts to create quick changes in how your body responds. We're talking about the combination of cucumber and mint. It may seem too simple, even common, but its effect goes far beyond what most people imagine. Cucumber contains a compound called silica, which plays a direct role in the structure of blood vessels. Over the years, these vessels lose elasticity, become more rigid, and make blood flow more difficult. That's where silica comes in. It helps reinforce that structure, making vessels more flexible and efficient. Now add to that mint, which contains a compound called rosmarinic acid, known for helping relax blood vessels and allowing blood to flow more easily. In other words, you have a combination that works in 2 ways at the same time. It strengthens structure and improves flow. Now think about it, something so simple, done every day, can create this kind of effect. And this is just the beginning, because the next step goes even deeper into how your body works. Now we're going to move to the next level, and this is where things start to get even more interesting, because we're no longer just talking about improving the structure of your blood vessels, but about activating one of the most important mechanisms for circulation in your body. And this mechanism has a name: nitric oxide. It may sound technical, but I'll simplify it so you can understand its real impact. Nitric oxide is like a switch inside your body that tells your blood vessels to relax and expand. And when that happens, blood flows much more easily, it reaches your extremities, your brain, your heart, and all the tissues that need oxygen. Now here's the problem: after the age of 60, the natural production of this compound decreases significantly. And this is one of the main reasons why many people start to feel cold hands, cold feet, constant fatigue, and even difficulty concentrating. It's not just slow circulation, it's a lack of activation of this system. And this is exactly where the combination of lemon and ginger comes in: simple, accessible, and extremely powerful when used correctly. Now think about it. Lemon is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C, and this vitamin plays a direct role in the production of nitric oxide. In other words, it helps activate a system that naturally begins to decline over time. Now add ginger to the mix, which brings a complementary effect. Ginger acts directly on blood quality, helping prevent it from becoming thicker or sluggish. It reduces platelet aggregation, meaning blood flows more easily with less resistance. Now imagine this combination working together: on one side, the vessels expand; on the other, the blood flows better. This creates a much more efficient effect than either one alone. And here's the key point: it's not just what you consume, it's how you consume it. To make this effective, you need proper preparation. Take a whole lemon, squeeze it into a large glass of water, and add thin slices of fresh ginger. Let the mixture sit for a few minutes to release its active compounds. The best time to drink it is in the morning, on an empty stomach, when your body is more receptive. This enhances absorption and overall effect. Now think honestly, how many times have you consumed something without paying attention to timing or preparation? Small details like this make a huge difference in results. And that's exactly why many people don't notice any effect even when they consume things that should work in theory. There's something even more important happening here. You're not just improving circulation, you're helping your body restore a mechanism it is gradually losing. And this directly impacts your energy, your vitality, and even your mental clarity. Now imagine this over a few weeks: less heaviness, more energy, better responsiveness from your body. And this is only the second step. Now we've reached a point that many people ignore, but that can be the real turning point when it comes to circulation. After 6.0. So far, you've seen how to improve flow and activate blood vessels, but there's something even deeper happening inside your body, something that defines how efficiently oxygen reaches your muscles, your brain, and all your tissues. We're talking about the quality of oxygen transport in the blood. Because here's a truth few people understand: it's not enough for blood to circulate, it needs to carry oxygen efficiently, and that's where the next strategy comes in: diluted beetroot in water. It may seem simple, but its effect is far more powerful than most people realize. Beetroot is one of the richest natural sources of nitrates, and these nitrates are converted by your body into nitric oxide, the same compound we mentioned earlier that dilates blood vessels. But here's the difference: the concentration of nitrates in beetroot is so high that the effect doesn't take weeks or months to appear. In many cases, it can be noticed within hours. Now think about it: you consume something in the morning, and a few hours later your body responds with better blood flow, improved oxygen delivery, and more energy. That's not common, but it's exactly what happens here. And there's a clear reason for it: when nitric oxide increases, vessels expand, blood flows better, and oxygen reaches where it needs to go more efficiently. And now imagine the impact on your daily life: more energy to move, less fatigue, greater endurance when walking, and even improved mental clarity. This isn't theory, it's physiology. There's also an important detail: how you consume it changes everything. Drinking pure beet juice can be heavy on the body, especially for people over 60. That's why dilution is key. Take about 100 milliliters of pure beet juice and mix it into a larger glass of water. This makes digestion easier and allows gradual, more efficient absorption. Timing also matters. The best time is in the morning or a few hours before activity, when nitric oxide conversion peaks. Now think, how often have you consumed something without considering timing? Small adjustments like this make all the difference. One more thing: beetroot may change the color of your urine or stool to a reddish tone. This is completely normal and not harmful, it simply shows your body is processing the compounds. Now understand this clearly: this is not just another healthy food, it's a direct tool to improve your circulatory efficiency. And when you improve that, everything improves: energy, endurance, and how your body responds to effort. Now imagine combining this with everything you've already learned: the impact multiplies. That's how you build a more functional, efficient, and resilient body. But we're not at the most powerful step yet, because the next one works in a completely different way, something few people know, but that can have a rapid effect on circulation, especially in the extremities. Now we've reached a point that most people don't even consider: but that can have a direct and almost immediate impact on circulation, especially in the hands, feet, and legs. And what's most interesting is that this method is often ignored precisely because it seems too simple or even uncomfortable at first. We're talking about using cayenne pepper in warm water. Yes, it may sound intense, and it really should be introduced carefully, but its effect on your body can be much more powerful than you imagine. Now pay attention to this, because here's the key difference. Cayenne pepper contains a compound called capsaicin. And this compound is one of the most powerful natural vasodilators ever studied. In simple terms, it causes your blood vessels to expand quickly, allowing blood to reach the extremities of your body more easily. Now think honestly with me, how many times have you felt cold feet, cold hands, or that tingling sensation? That's a clear sign that circulation isn't reaching those areas efficiently. And that's exactly where capsaicin comes in. When it enters the body, it stimulates the release of substances that cause blood vessels to open, improving blood flow quickly. But it doesn't stop there. There's another, even deeper effect happening. Capsaicin also improves microcirculation, meaning blood flow in the smaller vessels, the ones that actually deliver oxygen and nutrients directly to cells. And when this microcirculation improves, you begin to notice real changes. Less numbness, less heaviness, better recovery, and even improvements in skin health. Now imagine this happening consistently in your daily life. A body that is better supplied, more responsive, and more efficient. Now I want you to understand something very clearly. Everything you've seen so far is not about isolated solutions. It's about a system. Each of these strategies works on a different point, but they all complement each other. One improves the structure of the vessels, another activates flow, another improves oxygen transport, another enhances microcirculation, and this last one improves elasticity. Now imagine the impact of this when everything works together. A body that is more efficient, more responsive, and better prepared. Now think honestly with me. Do you realize the level of this? It's not just about drinking water. It's about turning something simple into a powerful tool to improve your health and quality of life. Now there is one final point I need to reinforce. This is not something you do once. It's something you incorporate into your routine. Because consistency is what produces results. And when you maintain it over time, your body responds. It improves, it adapts, and it becomes stronger. Now tell me honestly. Is it worth making this small adjustment in your daily life to have more energy, better circulation, and a higher quality of life? Because this is the decision that is in your hands right now. Now I want you to pause for a moment and truly absorb everything that has been presented so far, because this is not just a sequence of tips or a list of things you can do, this is a complete adjustment in how your body responds after the age of 60. And here is the most important point of all. Your body has not lost the ability to improve. It just needs the right stimulus. And most of the time, that stimulus doesn't come from something complex, it comes from small adjustments that activate mechanisms that were dormant. Now think honestly with me. How many times have you tried to improve your health by doing the basics, drinking more water, trying to move more, taking care of your diet, and still felt like something was missing? That's the point. It's not a lack of effort, it's a lack of direction. Because when you understand how your body truly works, you stop doing what just seems right and start doing what actually produces results. And everything you've seen here follows exactly that logic. Each of these strategies does not act alone, they complement each other. One improves vessel structure, another activates dilation, another improves flow, another works on microcirculation, and another restores elasticity. And when all of this works together, the impact is completely different. Now imagine this happening in your daily life: less heaviness in your legs, less swelling, more energy to move, more confidence when walking, and better body response. This is not something distant, this is a direct consequence of applying what you've just learned. Now there is something even more important you need to understand: don't expect drastic changes overnight. The body responds, but it responds to consistency. Small actions repeated every day create big transformations over time. Now think with me. What is more powerful, doing a lot for a few days or doing a little every day? The answer is clear. The body responds to repetition. And that's what you need to build, a simple, consistent, and sustainable habit. Now there is a point that few people consider, but it makes all the difference. You don't need to apply everything at once. Start with one of these strategies. Notice how your body responds. Then add another. And that's how you build a system that works for you. Because each body responds differently, and the most important thing is to find what works best for you and stick with it. Now tell me honestly. Is it worth investing a few minutes a day to improve your circulation, your energy, and your quality of life? Because that's exactly what's at stake here. It's not just about health, it's about how you live. Now there is one last point I need to tell you very clearly. Don't wait until you miss your ability to start taking care of it. Because when you miss it, you've already lost part of it. Start now, while your body still responds quickly, while it's still easier to improve. Because the sooner you act, the greater the return. Now think about it. If you keep ignoring it, your body keeps declining. But if you start now, your body begins to recover. And over time, that difference becomes enormous. Now the decision is in your hands. Continue as you are or make a small adjustment that can completely change your future. Because in the end, it's not time that determines how you age, it's your choices. Now I want to tell you something that maybe no one has told you this way before, but it may be the most important point of everything you've seen so far. It's not about the recipes, it's not about the ingredients, it's not even about the water. It's about the decision you make after understanding all of this. Because there is a huge difference between knowing and applying. And it's exactly in that gap that most people lose the chance to change. They watch, agree, find it interesting, but keep doing exactly the same things as before. And when that happens, nothing changes. Now think honestly with me. You made it this far, you understood, you realized there is a simple and accessible path. So the question is direct. Are you going to use this, or let it pass like so many other things you've seen? Because here's the truth few people accept. The body doesn't change with intention, it changes with action. And that action doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be hard. It needs to be consistent. Now imagine this scenario. You start today, choose one of these strategies, and apply it. Tomorrow you repeat. The next day you continue. And before you realize it, it becomes part of your routine. And that's when your body truly starts to respond. Because the body responds to repetition. Now there is something very important you need to understand. You are not just improving your circulation, you are changing how your body ages. You are creating a different path from most people, who simply accept decline as inevitable. But it's not inevitable, and you just saw that. Now think with me, how many people do you know who started losing mobility, energy, and independence and never regained it? It doesn't happen all at once, it happens gradually. And that's exactly why most people don't notice until it's too late. But you are at a different point, you are seeing it earlier, understanding it earlier. And that gives you a huge advantage. Now there is an even deeper point. It's not just about living longer, it's about how you live. Because there's no point in gaining years if you lose quality in those years. And that's exactly what these small changes help preserve: your mobility, your energy, and your independence. Now tell me honestly, is it worth investing a few minutes a day to maintain this? Because that's the trade-off, little effort now for much more freedom in the future. Now there is something I need to reinforce very clearly. You don't need to do everything perfectly. You don't need to follow everything at once. You just need to start and keep going. Because that's what generates results. Now think with me, if you continue for a week, you'll already feel a difference. In a month, the difference is clear. In a few months, you're no longer the same person in terms of energy and body response. And that's not an exaggeration, that's a consequence. Now there is one last point I want to leave with you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel motivated. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Start as you are, because that's how real change happens. Now the decision is simple but powerful. Continue as you are, or make a small adjustment that can completely transform how you feel and live. And it all starts with something simple, a glass of water, done the right way. Now we've reached the most important moment of all, the point where everything you've heard stops being just information and becomes a real decision. Because in the end, it's not what you know that changes your life, it's what you do with what you know. And here is the point that defines everything. You've just discovered something that most people never understand. That the problem is not just what you consume, but how your body reacts to what you consume after a certain age. And that completely changes the game. Now think honestly with me, how many people spend years trying to improve their health, drinking more water, following basic recommendations, and still feel heavy, tired, and unresponsive? That happens because they are missing that small adjustment that activates the right mechanisms. And that adjustment, as you've seen, is not complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require extreme effort. It lies in the details. And those are exactly the details you now understand. Now there is something you need to accept clearly: time will pass anyway. And the only thing you can control is how your body will respond over that time. Slower or more active. More rigid or more functional. More limited or more independent. And that difference begins with small daily choices. Now imagine this scenario: you start applying this every day. In a few weeks, you feel a difference. In a few months, you notice a clear change. And over time, you build something that many people lose without realizing. A body that still responds, still reacts, and still allows you to live freely. Now think with me, this is not just about circulation, it's about quality of life. It's about continuing to do what you enjoy without depending on anyone. It's about maintaining your independence. Now tell me honestly, is it worth ignoring this, or is it worth applying it? Because that's the decision that changes everything. Now there is one final point I need to reinforce. You don't need to wait for stronger signs to start. You don't need to wait until things get worse to act. Because when you wait for that, you've already lost part of your ability. The best time is now. While it's still easier to improve. While your body still responds quickly. Now think about it, if you do nothing, nothing changes. But if you do something, even something small, your body responds. And that response builds up over time. And that's what creates transformation. Now there is one final question I want to leave with you. How do you want to feel in a few years? Because that answer starts being built today. And it starts with something simple, but extremely powerful. A small adjustment that activates your body in the right way. And when that happens, everything changes.